Hi students, this is A. Mandari Kumar Rajesh. In this video, we are going to discuss a topic called types of vectors. In the previous video, we have discussed the vector and its role in gene cloning experiment. Vectors can be defined as a DNA molecule which can transfer the gene of interest into the host cell and it can self-replicate inside the host cell. And vectors are inserted into the host cell in order to get more number of or multiple copies of recombinant DNA or gene of interest. So in this video, we are going to discuss the types of vectors which are widely used in gene cloning experiment. In our book, they have given two types of vectors. They comes under plasmids. So there are two types of plasmids are given in our book. They are PBR 322 plasmid, then TI plasmid. So in this video we are going to discuss or we are going to mainly concentrate on these vectors. First, I am going to tell about what is called plasmid. So plasmid is an extra chromosomal material which is found in the bacterial cell in addition to the bacterial chromosome. So bacteria contains bacterial chromosome. In addition to that, the bacteria contains plasmid and they are called as extra chromosomal material. Then it can self-replicate. The plasmid can self-replicate because it contains genetic information for self-replication. So plasmids are otherwise called as extra chromosomal material. So they are found in bacterial cell in addition to bacterial chromosome, and it can self-replicate because it contains genetic information for self-replication, and they are called as plasmids. So first I am going to tell about the PBR 322 plasmids. So the PBR 322 plasmid is a reconstructed plasmid. That means they are genetically constructed or engineered plasmid which are widely used in gene cloning experiment. So this PBR 322 plasmid is a plasmid derived from naturally occurring plasmid called E1. Plasmid called E1. This called E1 can able to produce a toxic substance called bacteriocin. So these bacteriocins are able to affect the growth of other related bacteria. So this bacteriocin can affect the growth of other related bacteria. So the PBR 322 plasmid is derived from naturally occurring plasmid called E1. Then this plasmid contains 4361 base pair of DNA. PBR 322 plasmid composed of 4361 base pair of DNA. Then it contains the replication property more faster. Its replication property is more faster. So PBR 322 replication property is more faster. Then this P stands for plasmid. P stands for plasmid. Then BR stands for the scientist who developed the PBR 322. So B and R stands for the scientist who developed PBR 322. So B stands for Bolivar and R stands for Rodriguez. So B stands for Bolivar and R stands for Rodriguez. markers. Then the 322, the number 322 stands for the number of plasmids which are developed in that laboratory. 322 stands for the number of plasmids which are developed in that laboratory. Then I am going to tell about the plasmid structure. Let me explain the structure of PBr 322 plasmid. The plasmid contains one Ori site. That means it contains only one origin of replication site. So it contains one origin of replication site. So a good vector must contains at least one Ori site. With the help of that origin of replication site only, the replication process get started. Then it must contains ROP, that means replication protein. So it contains ROP. So with the help of this protein only, the replication process get initiated, because the DNA polymerase bind with this protein and it initiated the replication process. So PBr 322 contains ROP, that is a replication protein. Then it contains two types of selectable marker genes conferring resistance to antibiotics, ampicillin and tetracycline. So it contains two selectable marker. It contains two selectable marker genes which are resistant to antibiotics, ampicillin and tetracycline. Then it contains unique recognition site for 20 restriction endonucleases. It contains unique recognition sites for 20 restriction endonucleases. That means we can able to use any kind of restriction endonuclease to insert the gene of interest into the plasmid, because it contains recognition sites for 20 restriction endonucleases. Then I am going to tell about a process called insertional inactivation. Insertional inactivation. That means this PBr 322 contains two selectable marker, that is the two antibiotic resistant genes. They are ampicillin resistant gene and tetracycline resistant gene. And the two resistant genes, that antibiotic resistant genes, contains cloning sites. The two antibiotic resistant genes contains cloning site. Suppose if we insert a gene of interest in the resistant gene, in the ampicillin resistant gene, because it contains the cloning site. For example, it contains PST1. So we are inserting the gene of interest in the ampicillin resistant gene. The gene of interest inactivate the ampicillin resistant gene. After the insertion of the gene of interest in the cloning site, the ampicillin resistant gene get inactivated, and that process is called as insertional inactivation, and that process is called as insertional inactivation. That means this plasmid is now are not able to grow in the ampicillin, that antibiotic ampicillin, that culture which contains antibiotic ampicillin, because the ampicillin resistant gene get inactivated. But it can resist to tetracycline antibiotic, because it contains tetracycline resistant gene. So with this feature we can identify, we can select the transform and non-transform recombinants, that means cells. With these features we can identify and select the transform and non-transform cells. So that's all about the PBr 322 plasmid. Now I am going to tell about the plasmid TI plasmid. So please wait a minute. Let me tell about the next plasmid called TA plasmid. TA plasmids are otherwise called as tumor inducing plasmid or tumor induction plasmid. So the TA plasmids are otherwise called as tumor inducing plasmid or tumor induction plasmid. Then these TA plasmids are found in the bacterium called Agrobacterium tumefaciens. So the TA plasmids are found in the bacterium called Agrobacterium tumefaciens. Actually, this Agrobacterium tumefaciens is a gram-negative bacteria. So it is a gram-negative bacteria, and they are soil inhibiting bacteria. Soil inhabiting bacteria. Then it can cause disease called ground gall disease or tumor or cancer to the plant cell. So this bacteria can cause ground gall disease or tumor or cancer to the plant cell. Then it can infect the plants through the wounded parts or breaks. So this bacteria can infect the plants through breaks or wounded parts. Then it can cause tumor, or it can form tumor, results in the integration of tDNA in plant genome. If the plant shows tumor formation, that means it results in the integration of tDNA in plant genome. So if the tDNA integrates with the plant genome, it shows the tumor formation. So we have to remove, or we have to disarm the tDNA, naturally occurring tDNA, which can cause the cancer. So we have to disarm the naturally occurring tDNA which can cause cancer, and we have to replace them with gene of interest or foreign gene. We have to remove only the gene which are responsible for the cancer, and they are replaced by the gene of interest and foreign DNA. Then I am going to tell about how the tDNA transfer to the plant cell. Let's go to the board. So it is a structure of TA plasmid, and it contains virulence region, and this virulent region contains the gene called virulent gene or vir gene. So the virulent genes are responsible for the transfer of tDNA into the plant cell. So this virulent genes are responsible for the transfer of tDNA into the plant cell. But it needs a condition, that is, the plant should produce a phenolic compound, and that compound activate this virulent gene. So this virulent gene has to activated by a phenolic compound which is secreted by the plant, and that compound is called as acetostringent. So make sure, I am not sure about the spelling, please make sure whether it is right or wrong. Then that injured plant released a phenolic compound called acetostringent, which makes or which activates the virulent gene. Then this virulent gene composed of 8 or 7 types of genes. This vir gene composed of 7 to 8 types of vir gene, and these vir genes helps the tDNA to get transfer into the plant cell. So these virulent genes are responsible for the transfer of tDNA into the plant cell, and the plant cell has to, that injured plant has to secrete acetylstringent to activate this virulent gene. Then it contains orphan. Orphan is nothing but the derivatives of amino acids which are produced by this tDNA. So orphans are derivatives of amino acids which are produced by tDNA. So these amino acids are used as source of energy by the bacterium. So this orphan is used as source of energy by the bacterium. Here you can find orphan catabolism. So these orphans are used by the bacteria for energy source, and it contains auxin and cytokinin. That means this plasmid does not require exogenous supplement of plant growth hormone auxin and cytokinin, and it contains ORI site, the origin of replication site, and it contains multiple cloning sites and also contains selectable markers. So for the transfer of tDNA, it requires the virulent gene. That virulent gene get activated by the phenolic compound which is secreted by the plant, and that compound is called acetylstringent. This acetylstringent activated the virulent gene, and that virulent gene transfer the tDNA into the plant cell, and it contains auxin, cytokinin, orphan, then ORI site, then multiple cloning sites and selectable marker. So that's all about TI plasmid. Still, we have different types of vectors which are widely used in the gene cloning experiments. If time permits, I will make a video on that vectors. So if you have any doubt regarding this chapter, please let me know. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you.